Okay, hello everyone, and back to Tanks Blitz. Yes, sorry, my Bandicam was not showing me that it had actually started recording, so I was a bit worried there, but anyway. Yes, welcome back to World of Tanks Blitz. We're here going to be taking a look at a Tier 1 tank. Yes, a Tier 1 tank. And this tank is going to be the Renault FT. Now, the Renault FT was designed in the First World War, so straight up the bat, that instantly makes this out of date. However, here in World of Tanks, it is the French Tier 1 tank which you first known. And because it is a World War I tank, technically, that's why I think that this camouflage, the Bastille camouflage, fits this tank perfectly, because it really is just so reminiscent of the old World War I camo schemes that you see on the World War I vehicles. I think that the World War I era had some of the best camouflages for tanks. They just looked so cool. Whether or not they were effective is debatable, but they just look awesome. And the Bastille camouflage just is fitting because it's a World War I design, and this Bastille war paint is World War I themed almost. So yeah, it sort of works. But anyway, we're going to be taking a look at this Tier 1 tank. Now, this was the first time that I actually used the Blitz version of the 25mm cannon, and it's when I got the shock, the pleasant shock of knowing that it was a 6-round autoloader. But anyway, let's take a look here. So 4% protection, 16% firepower, 32% shot effectiveness, and 53% maneuverability. So it's got 240 hit points, which compared to the LOL tractor is not as many. Yeah, it's about 10 less. But honestly, who really cares about the amount of hit points for a Tier 1 vehicle? The Renault 2 has got, let's have a look. Renault 2's got 250. The MS1 has got, let's take a look, 240. The LOL tractor we've seen. The medium 1 has got 270, so it's got the most HP, I think, out of all of them. The T1 Cunningham has got 270. So yeah, T1 takes the biscuit, or is on par with the medium, and so that leaves the FT running a bit low on the old HP. But honestly, at Tier 1, that's only a 30 HP difference. It's still a fair amount to take note of, but it's not really, giving you a major disadvantage. The armour, however, is pretty good. 16 hull all round, but 22 front and side of the turret, plus it's rounded, which means it will give some Tier 2 tanks and Tier 1 tanks a run for their money with the rounded and the thickness of the turret. The hull armour, not quite as good, obviously, being only 16, but then again, it is slightly sloped up here. A little bit of sloping on that and the lower glacis there, but overall, if you angle slightly, it will bounce off the side a bit. But honestly, it's Tier 1 and Tier 2. There's no such thing really as armor at Tier 1 or 2. I mean, there is on the 38H, but then that's why it's called the Micro Mouse. But for most things, there's not really any concept of armor. So yeah, you don't really be too disheartened by your armor. As for the maneuverability, weighs about 4.7 tons with 103 horsepower engine, which gives it a 21 km/h speed limit. But it has a very good traverse speed, 42.3 degrees per second. Plus, it's got a 36.22 degrees per second turret traverse, which is not that great. But then again, there are tanks with worse turret traverse, and after all, it's Tier 1. I can't stress that enough, because I'm doing a review of a Tier 1 tank, and that in and of itself shouldn't really be needed. It's not needed, I'm just doing it for fun. But yeah, the turret traverse, slightly slow, but honestly, there are tanks with worse turret traverse, so yeah, doesn't really matter about that. As for the maneuverability, the traverse speed is very good, so you can easily, you know, change directions very quickly. It's fairly maneuverable in that regard. Well, yeah, the top speed, not that great, but then again, it's tier 1. If we compare it to the LOL tractor, that's got considerably more tonnage. It's almost double the weight, but with the same horsepower engine. I mean, it has better speed limits and things, but this thing weighs less, so it's got a better horsepower to ton ratio, I would say. So yeah, there's that. As for the engine, well, 20% chance of fire and impact, of course, the 103 horsepower, as per mentioned. 238 meters view range, which is, it's alright, certainly tier 1. It'll do for tier 1. Yeah, load limit, got a couple of tons load limit to play around with there, so yeah, not too bad. But now we come to the guns, and historically, this is the gun which was used in the First World War, which is a very, very short-barreled 37mm gun. It has less penetration than the 25mm, better damage, far worse dispersion, and a far worse aim time. So, yeah, you're going to use this for 1, maybe 2 battles, unless you can just free XP it with a very minimal amount of free XP. But yeah, so it's got terrible accuracy. It's got alright penetration, 37 pen is pretty decent. The average damage is of course also pretty good as well. I mean, it's a 37mm gun, but still. The accuracy and the aim time is pretty bad to use, especially with a 50% crew. Although your crew can go from 50 to 100 in one battle if you play right. So. But then you've got the choice of the 2 guns, which most people will use. Of course, some people will use the 37 because it does have the best damage. But you've first up got this gun, which is the 13.2mm Hotchkiss Middle 1930, which has got 15 shells in the magazine, fires them off in probably 5 shots of 5 bullets, because it is a machine gun, so they're not shells, they're bullets, it's just a very large caliber machine gun. So yeah, you've got more shells in the magazine, bullets in the magazine, compared to the 25mm. It's got a less of a reload time between each shell. So when you go do one burst, it's got a quicker reload so that you can fire your next burst compared to the 25mm. But then it's got a worse magazine reload time overall. Far worse penetration. I mean, the 25mm does have double its penetration. In the fact that the machine gun's only got 23 armor piercing and 36 with APCR. The average damage as well, much worse, only being 8 as per his machine guns. If you use the M2 on the T7 combat car, it's again got the same penetration as the T7. As for the dispersion, it's the same dispersion, 0.5, which is very bad, but it's tier 1 after all. The aim time is also slightly worse by 0.1 seconds, and it also weighs 1 kilogram more. So, or no, 1 kilogram less even, I think. Yeah, 1 kilogram less than the 25mm. But of course, the 25mm is what most people will use. It has got 6 shells in the magazine, 1 second between each shell, so you can go bang, next second, bang, next second, bang. That sort of thing. The complete magazine reload time is 7.73 seconds, which is alright. Average pen goes way up to a very impressive 46 with armor piercing, 68 with APCR. The average damage is 25 with AP, 20 with APCR, of course. Dispersion is the 0.5, which is very bad, but the aim time is alright with 4.2 seconds. So, yeah. Could be worse, but basically it's got very good average pen with the armor piercing. Average damage, it can do a lot of damage. It can do, what is it, 25, 50, 75, 100, 150 damage in 6 seconds, which is that's alright if you can get people in there. You'll take down half the health of a tier 5, a tier 1. So yeah, it's got very good burst damage, and before you know it, you'll be reloaded. In the heat of the battle, you'll be reloaded before you even know it. So yeah, as for the ammunition, you carry an overdose of ammunition. You carry 360 25mm rounds, which is more than enough for any length of battle whatsoever. Even if you didn't have a reload time, I doubt you could fire all of these bullets, or all of these shells rather, before the end of the 7 minutes. So yeah, you carry an overload of ammunition. You just do not. I think that with the FT, they just sort of gave it this gun. They just thought, what's a good number of shells it can carry? I don't know. Let's give it something like 360. Give that man a cookie. We'll give it 360 shells. So that's what they did. So yeah. As for the provisions, of course, protective kit, 15% protection of crew from injuries, 10% speed and module repair, 20% fire protection, and 10% ammo and fuel tank durability. Then you've got canned pate, 3% crew mastery, and then you have got standard fuel, 3% engine power and turret reverse. And you can go ahead and put some of them if you want. It's tier 1. Even if you do mount all of these, you're never going to lose money. It's tier 1, so you're never going to lose credits. So may as well bung them on. Why not? I mean, they're pretty cheap. I mean, even without clan discounts or anything, this is without clan discount anyway. So yeah. As for consumables, you've got your standard repair, first aid, fire extinguisher. Then you've got the engine power boost and multi-purpose restoration pack. Engine power boost, 20% engine power for 15 seconds. And the multi-purpose restoration pack is those three things rolled into one. So you can go ahead and mount some of them if you want. No adrenaline, because it's an autoloader. So adrenaline doesn't really help with an autoloader. So yeah, got them. As for the equipment, well, you've of course got improved vents, which you'll want because you don't need 2 extra pen. 46 pen is already very good for tier 1 and tier 2. So yeah, go ahead, shove on improved vents, protected modules, and coated optics, because well, you could fit a camo net, but it's tier 1. So you may as well bung on coated optics. If you get rid of the coated optics, the view range goes down to like 210 meters or something. So yeah. You only have a 2 of crew, so in that case enhanced cabin might be better for the extra crew protection, but it's tier 1. Who really knows what they're doing with equipment? Then I would say enhanced gun lane drive, get the aim time down to 3.8 seconds, which is always nice. Then I would go improved assembly, because well, your armor is alright for tier 1, but it's never going to really stop a determined shell. I mean, from a tier 2 or something, even the LOL tractor can get through your turret, so yeah, not much point in that. So I'd say improved assembly for the extra HP. Then I would say go with engine accelerator, because you've got very good traverse speed anyway, so you may as well get it up to 110 horsepower, and yeah, get your acceleration better. Then refined gun, bring down the dispersion to 0.47, which still is terrible, but it's better than 0.5. Then I would say your choice of enhanced tracks or toolbox, because either of them are good, and then your choice of whatever the hell those two things are. So that is the Renault FT, a World War I era design, but it's a fun little tank to play, and for everyone, or for almost everyone, it will be their first experience with the 25mm gun in this configuration before you bung it and change it completely onto the Renault FTAC. Because, you know, they just decided, what's better than having an autoloading 25mm? Let's have a burst-firing autoloader 25mm. Yeah, great idea. But, yeah, it's still fun on this tank and on the D1, so, yeah. And the Renault FT, as for this back scoop, by the way, that's to help it cross trenches, because, after all, World War I design, trench crossing is needed in World War I, so that's what that little scoop was there for, just to give that extra bit of assistance crossing over trenches. But yeah, it's a fun little tier 1 tank with a very good gun and generally alright other parameters. So I'll thank you for watching and goodbye.